Okay, well, since I started my rant about this subject earlier on, I've since dosed myself up to the eyeballs on caffeine and nicotine to calm myself down because I was getting a little bit irritated. But anyway, I am really sick and tired of people blooming arguing. Why can't people just accept the fact that whether we're different? Because we're not really all that different. People are so busy focusing on what's different that they're not willing to acknowledge what's the same. Yeah, science has one point of view, religion has another. Yeah, but that's all it is a point of view. It's how you think. That's the only thing that makes anyone different. We all feel the same feelings. We all have hearts. We all have feelings that get hurt, but it's just what hurts those feelings that makes us different. Different things trigger different emotions in different people, but the emotions themselves are still the same. We all love, we all hate, we all get angry, we all jump for joy. What makes us do so is all that makes us different, and people don't want to acknowledge that, and it makes me so angry. It really is annoying seeing so many people, seeing everybody arguing all the time, trying to force their opinions on everybody else. Oh, religion says this, science says that. Science says we evolved from monkeys. Religion says God created us. But how many people are willing to turn around and go, oh, well, maybe we evolved from the monkeys that God created. Oh, there we go, there's a compromise. But how many people want to compromise? Not many. They just want to force their opinions on everybody else without actually acknowledging the fact that everybody has a different way of thinking. If all knowledge and all wisdom were meant to be contained within one mind alone, then there would be no need for individuality. And all these people who turn around and say that, oh, it would be better if everybody was the same. No, it wouldn't, because that wouldn't be life. It would be a mere existence. If in a world where everything was the same, there would be no life. Life is chaos. Deal with it. That is what the essence of life. We are all a combination of light and darkness. We all have the capacity to create and destroy. It's just all down to the person, the individual, how they think, what they choose to do. That is the essence of life. Chaos incarnate. That's what we are. And the sooner people come to terms with that, the better the world will be. Because you can't change chaos. Chaos is what it is. Life is what it is. If you were to attempt to change that basic fact, then life would not exist. Period. Life, death, life will find a way no matter bloody what happens. Even if something were to happen to wipe all life out on this bloody planet tomorrow, it's been proven time and again, life will find a way. The form of life may change, but life itself will continue. And even when the universe itself is come to its end, and it explodes, implodes, however you want to look at it, it doesn't really bloody matter. When the universe's lifespan has come to an end, it will be destroyed. It will be destroyed and be replaced with something new. Because that's how life works. Life is eternal. The form of life is the only thing that changes. Life itself will always be. If people just don't want to acknowledge that, they're not willing to look at the deeper meaning behind things. They just want to look at surface value, and then they have the nerve to turn around and say that they understand. No, there's a difference between knowing and understanding. Just because you know something, it doesn't mean to say you understand it. If you're not willing to look at more than one point of view, then you can never say that you truly understand anything, because you don't. All you know is that one aspect of it. That's it. And if you're only willing to look at one aspect, then you're never going to understand. But people don't even understand their own words. They speak, but they don't understand what they're saying. And that really gets on my nerves. And then for the people that are actually willing to look past the individual aspects of things and acknowledge that they haven't got a bloody clue, are deemed crazy. Oh, you're crazy because you have an opinion that conflicts with mine. Yeah, so what? I'm crazy. Whoopty shit. Now, am I crazy or am I insane? I wonder. And that makes me laugh. How people can be so blinded by hatred and ignorance that they're not willing to acknowledge the fact that they're ignorant. I'm blinded by something that I don't even know that I am. I'm not willing to look at myself. I'm willing to judge other people, but I won't judge myself. You can't judge anybody. You can't comment on the existence of anybody until you're first willing to look at yourself, because that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. You can't see if you're not willing to see yourself first. And all these people who try and make them out to be selfless and brave and all that. Oh well, that's such a selfless act. There's no such thing as a selfless act, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, there's always bloody something that you gain from it. Even if it's just something as simple as feeling good about your bloody self because you've managed to influence and help somebody around you, giving people the capacity to be able to do things for themselves. That's true help. People don't even understand the meaning of the word kindness. They think it's kind to go out of their way to do something for somebody else. But if you're robbing them of their independence, what's going to happen to them when you're gone? If you're just going to go about your life doing all these things for other people, then how can you turn around and say, that's kind? It's not, it's cruel. If you rob them of their independence, they're unable to fend for themselves. So when you're no longer there to do these things for them, they don't know how to do them themselves, so they're lost. That's not kindness, it's cruelty. But people don't even want to acknowledge this. True kindness is guiding others, guiding them, showing them how to do it for themselves, not doing it for them. People are ignorant, and so few people are actually willing to admit that they're ignorant. I'm the first one to admit that I know what I know, but I don't know everything. I know what I know. If I was meant to know any more, I'd know it already. But that's the thing. Religion would have you believe, they would have you be blinded by the thought of an answer. Well, you must believe this, you must believe that. If you don't, then you're a heathen. And then all the different religious sects across the world will bitch, whinge, argue amongst themselves, bloody accuse each other of being heathens and bloody whatnot, but just because their way of thinking contradicts and conflicts with their bloody beliefs. You don't believe what I believe, so you're a heathen. And war throughout history. It's like I was online on Xbox Live the other day, and I was speaking with somebody who really got me annoyed, turning around and placing, 90% of wars throughout history is down to religion. If we didn't have religion, then there would be very little conflict. No, that's bullshit. You scientific little bitch. I have to restrain myself from completely and utterly demoralising her, because she really wound me up. How can you turn around and say that it's all down to religion? No, it's not. Yeah, it's one of the blooming aspects of the wars that have been bloody fought throughout history, but it's not the main aspect. Science is just as bad. If you didn't research different ways to kill each other, then you wouldn't have the tools for war to begin with. So it's not just down to religion. Science is just as bad as religion when it comes to conflict. So you can't turn around and place all the blame on one side, because it's not one-sided. Every single argument, even no matter how major or minor, always has multiple aspects. Just because you have one point of view doesn't mean to say it's the only point of view. If everything in the world was the same, there would be no point to life. In a world where everything was the same, there would be no life. It would be just existence. Because you'd know what it was the other person was thinking. You'd know what it was that they were going to do, because you would do it too. Where's the point in that? There'd be nothing to learn in such a bloody world. In a world like that, there would be nothing to learn, therefore there would be no point to life. Life is driven. Life is created through conflict. You can accept it or not, but it doesn't stop it from being the blooming same. That is the case. Life is conflict. The conflicts that we experience throughout life shape who we are to become. At every single point in time, we have the capacity to be multiple people. It's all down to how we decide to interpret the situation, whether or not we choose to learn from it. Just because you're aware of it doesn't mean to say you've learned. Yeah, you know what happens. You do. You're not dealing with it very well, so therefore you haven't learned at all because you're continuously repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. Because that's what it's all about. Is experience. You know, they say wisdom comes from experience. No, wisdom comes from learning from your experiences. If you don't learn, then you're not going to be bloody wise in the end. You can have somebody at the age of 16 that's wiser than somebody at the age of 60. Why? Because it all depends on whether or not they learned from what they've experienced. You know, life is chaos. You can accept it or don't. But it doesn't stop it from being true. You know, people make the assumption of, oh, it's silent. There's nothing in existence. Oh, look, just silence blooming everywhere. But if I speak, then I break the silence. No, it means the silence broke you, mate. The silence is what it is. When you stop speaking, the silence will still be there. So you didn't break it broke you. You know, there is a difference. You know, but people don't want to look at these aspects. They misinterpret things all the time and make the misguided assumption that they understand when they don't. All they do is know. And just because you know doesn't mean you understand. If you're not willing to look at more than one aspect, you could never, ever possibly hope to understand anything. If you're under the impression that science has all the answers, you're wrong. Science has no answers. All it has is questions. It is an eternal an eternal question is all science is. But religion would have you blinded by the answer. You know, it thinks it has the answer. It's got this point of view. It doesn't change. But it's blinded to its own answer. It doesn't want to look beyond it. If you're not willing to ask the question, then you could never hope to have the answer find you. People think that answers. Oh, I'll find the answer. No, answers find you when you're ready to hear them. You know, but if you're too busy screaming the answer at the question at the top of your bloody lungs, the answer will never find you because it will be deafened to your calls. But if you're too scared, like religion is, to ask the question to begin with, then it's never going to find you anyway. Sometimes a whisper can be louder than a shout. You know, and I'm just tired of seeing people constantly giving each other grief just because they're not willing to acknowledge the fact that their way of thinking conflicts with each other. They're not willing to see things from their point of view. I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see exactly where you're coming from. I don't agree with it, but you know, that is what it is. You either agree or you don't. Deal with it. You know, oh no, you know, bloody, we got this whole bloody business. Oh, you're white, you're racist. Oh, you're black, you're racist. You know, but who cares? Who cares? You know, there's good and bad in every single person in existence. It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, or otherwise. You know, yeah, you're a person. We all feel exactly the same way. We all have feelings. We all have feelings that get hurt sometimes. You know, and people are so busy focusing on what's different, they're not willing to acknowledge what's the same. Who cares about the blooming surface value? Who cares if on the surface you're black or white? You know, who cares? It's what lies beneath that matters. You know, people are so busy trying to find bloody complexity and simplicity. You know, the simpler things have the deepest roots. You know, the more complex it is, the less stable it is. It doesn't have deep bloody roots. It won't last forever. But the simplest things will last an eternity. You know, it is simple. You dig a hole in the bloody ground. The deeper you dig, the deeper that you dig and the more complex the bloody tunnels you bloody make. Yeah, you build a bloody mine, the more tunnels you add, the more complex the mine becomes, the less stable the foundations becomes, and the more chance it's going to collapse. You know, but people don't want to look at that. There's nothing wrong with being simple. There's nothing wrong with simplicity. Simplicity is what it is. To be simple isn't a bad thing. To be simple is actually a really good thing. You know, people just want to judge and persecute because they don't understand. They don't want to understand. People don't even understand what it is to understand. So how could they ever possibly hope to understand? You know, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to stay silent in a world full of ignorance when I know full well that there are people out there with the capacity to learn, not just be taught, but to learn. And if I was to stay silent about the things that I've learned, then there'd be no hope to actually guide those who are actually willing. So I hope I do hope that one day people will actually open their eyes and see what it is they're doing. Because at this present moment in time, in this world, people are so blind and ignorant to everything around them that they're not willing to acknowledge what they have. It isn't the fact that we're here. It doesn't matter how we got here. It really doesn't matter. I don't need to know to understand. Does it really matter whether we evolved from monkeys or whether we were created by God? Is it really that important? Is it really that important? It's not critical to understanding. The fact that we're here to begin with is a miracle in itself. You know, science says, oh, well, there'd be no life without the Big Bang. Well, I got this to say to you, science. If there was nothing before the Big Bang, then what set those atoms in motion? To quote Isaac Newton, to be exact, an object in motion stays in motion until it collides with something. So if there was nothing before the Big Bang happened, what set those atoms in motion to collide? There's something for you to think about.